business is basically not built overnight. You have to have the grit, you have to have the discipline, and you also have to have tawakkul in Allah. Assalamualaikum everyone, and welcome back. For those of you who are new, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatima and I am the founder and CEO of Apparels by FM, a modest fashion brand woven into your everyday, and also the co-founder of the Henna Sisters, a henna studio that I run with my younger sister. And here on Entrepreneur Diaries, we're going to be talking about everything. We're going to be talking about the raw, real journey as a Muslimah entrepreneur and what it took to get where we are today and where we want to go in the future. I just have some stuff to get done. So I do have my products right here that I need to package in their packaging while I'm talking to you guys. So do I like this? Do I not? Do I like this? Do I not? I mean, let's take these nerdy glasses off so I can actually focus a little bit more. So today, the topic that we're going to be talking about the most is I want to share where and how I got the entrepreneurship spirit and why I started the business, what led up to starting the business, and yeah. So if I take you guys back 2016, I would say, I had an entrepreneurship project to do for my degree, and my grandfather was an entrepreneur. My background is from Pakistan, so my grandfather was actually an entrepreneur in Pakistan. He was one of the very first few people that actually brought out men's clothing from brands like Gul Ahmad, Al Karam, Shabir, Glamour, to the retail market. Basically, he had a store in downtown in Karachi, and he would actually get all like the fabrics in his store. He would sell it for those brands, and then the brands would technically have like their transactions and however they used to do it. So when I had to do my entrepreneurship project, it was very easy for me because my grandfather. So I had to like sit down with him one day, and mind you, it's not like I didn't have like any entrepreneurship experience before that, because I was working in an incubation center and I was also like doing gigs here and there for like different things just to like make money as a student. He's basically the driving force behind why I basically started doing business as full-time. He taught me how to be very compassionate in business. He taught me that customer service is the engine that drives your business, basically. So if I break it down in steps, the first thing he taught me was to pray my salah, pray istikhara, pray my duas, and any hardship, any decision, anything I want to do, I need to be able to make my duas and do my istikhara before anything. And I feel like that was such a good life lesson for me, because now anything I need to do, whether it's related to business or whether it's related to like my personal life or any small thing that I need to do, I do make very special dua for it. I do my istikhara, and that's when I start doing anything, and it has changed the course of my life, a whole 180, I would say. So I learned this from my grandfather, that business is basically not built overnight. You have to have the grit, you have to have the discipline, and you also have to have tawakkul in Allah. I'm just going to move this aside so I can actually like work on packaging like the products that I need to package. Those of you who have seen our products, these are the dhikr counters basically, and we were running really low on them, so I had to restock them. For any of like products like these small like dhikr counters or any accessories, I have to be like very like mindful when I'm basically like restocking them, because I can't restock like a ton of them just because like I don't want the battery to run out and stuff either. So I have to be like very careful with how I'm restocking them. It also depends on like the season. So the Eid season is coming up, the Ramadan season and stuff. So people are starting to shop for it. So this is what we do. We just put in a card, one of our brand cards, and then put the liquor counter in like this in the packet and just close it up. Last thing I'm gonna do once I make all these packets, I'm gonna put it in my Shopify inventory, and I'm gonna basically print out these barcodes, so it's a lot easier for me at booths and even for in-store shopping and stuff. 2016 basically is when I actually had an entrepreneurship project, and I got to know a lot more about him and his journey as an entrepreneur, how he started, where he started, what the struggles were. And he taught me a lot of things because I don't know why, but for some reason he just thought that I would be a really good entrepreneur and that I shouldn't waste my talent for companies that wouldn't really like do me any good, which at that time I didn't really understand because I was quite young. But growing up, when I worked out in corporate, I worked in retail, I did a lot of different jobs, I kind of understood why he said that and where he was coming from. So pray for my grandfather, because he's the reason why I'm sitting here making this video talking to you guys about these things. The first thing he taught me was make your du'as. Pray your istikhara. Without du'as, without istikhara, as a Muslim, we cannot do anything. And he was so right about it. Any decision I have to make, anything I'm scared of, anytime I'm doubtful and I don't know what to do, I basically just pray my dua, go pray istikhara, and leave it to Allah. And I feel like that's like the strongest way that you can have tawakkul in Allah, because you did your due diligence. Now you know that you are gonna put in that effort, and then you have to trust Allah in the process as well. He also taught me that the business is not built overnight. Business cannot be successful overnight. You have to put in the effort. You have to wait for the outcome. You might, on social media these days specifically, we might see a lot of businesses that are growing overnight and getting fame overnight, and basically like we're like, oh, they're getting hyped up and whatever, but we only see the picture that is shown to us, right? The business might have gained followers overnight because of a specific ad promotion that they had, or people might have liked the content that they made, but how many customers are converting? That is where you need to understand what the bigger picture is. Followers don't always equal to customers or conversion, so we have to put in the effort and we have to keep working hard. Even if we got successful like one time, it's not possible to get the same kind of success over and over again unless we're putting in the effort and we work hard enough. He also taught me not to look left and right, not to get overwhelmed or distracted by other people, other brands, anyone who's doing anything. Like basically, like these days I know there's like a lot of competition, specifically in like the modest fashion industry too, the industry that I basically have my brand in, where every other person is basically building a modest fashion brand, but there's no originality anymore. Everyone is carrying the same thing. It's always the same type of hijab, the same colors of hijabs, the same colors of abayas, the same material, or very specific different materials. And also, like, it's not modest anymore either. Like hijabs, yes, I know there's like different kind of materials for hijabs and stuff, but if you look at the dresses, if your dresses are like skin tight, or even if you need to layer on top of those modest dresses, and I'm sorry guys, but they are not modest anymore. He also taught me to be respectful to people. The key to being the best business and the key to running a very successful business is all about customer service. The more you are respectful to someone, the more you are able to serve someone, the more trust people are gonna have in you and your business, and the more it'll be successful in the long run. Again, you might not see the success like immediately, you might not see the result immediately, but I'm talking through experience about this. People, when you give them respect, when you give them good customer service, they will keep coming back to you. And they don't keep coming back because your prices might be the lowest, or they might love the material or whatever. Yes, they might like the product, but they're coming back more because you make them feel a specific way. You can sell a product to a customer once, but for you to make them into a continuous customer is you have to be able to provide that excellent customer service to them. And if you're not able to do that, then I'm very sorry, but those customers might be a one-off, or if they don't find anything else and you're the only one that carry it, they might come to you just because they had to, not because they wanted to. Customer service always also teaches us patience. We have to be very patient. We have to be respectful. We have to be patient. We have to be down to earth to our customers as well. Okay, I have a question. Do you think these colors are off, like different? Like, I know they're like a shade off. Should I just like include them in the same thing? No, I'll make a separate color for this. Another very important lesson my grandfather taught me was never shy away from helping anyone. Where is our tawakkul tested the most? With people. With people, with our community, with our society. When we're talking to someone. Being a business owner, I've noticed this so much among other business owners too, that no one wants to share their trade secrets, or no one wants to share their secrets, which is fine. Everyone has their own way of doing life. But imagine someone from the outside world who is struggling with their jobs, or who really needs to make some extra income, or even needs to like put food on the table. If you don't help them, if you don't show them the right way, how long do you think you're gonna succeed? You're not going to, especially as Muslims. I feel like this is such a big pillar for tawakkul, where yeah, you don't have to spill out all your beans. You don't have to be like, oh, this is how much I paid for this, or this is what I am doing. You could just show them, you could just guide them. Be like, hey, why don't you try this thing? This might help you out. This might work out for you. This is how I've been doing it. Maybe. This is something that you can try yourself too. It doesn't hurt to help someone. It doesn't take away from you. It doesn't take away from your customers. It doesn't take away from your risk. We have to understand that as Muslims. This is something that I learned from my grandfather, but also from like my teachers and stuff in school, and from like my mentors and all my managers and stuff that I worked with over the years, is every problem has a solution in itself. Now all we have to do is be a little careful and be a little mindful, and actually sit down, calm down from the situation that we're in, and look around. If you want to run a very successful business, or even become like a successful entrepreneur, you have to be able to read people. Reading people is the hardest thing, or the hardest skill that you can learn for yourself as a small business owner, or as a person in general. If I give you two very simple tips to learn how to read people, is read their body language and look at their eyes. That's all you need to know. You're gonna understand the vibe. Your body, this is something a lot of therapists or a lot of psychologists talk about, is your body feels energy before your mind can even process it. If someone is very closed off, you're going to be able to understand it. If someone is very rigid and have a lot of attitude, you're going to be able to understand it. And read off of the vibe that that person is giving. Like if that person thinks that they're a lot better than you, you don't need to talk to them. You don't need to associate yourself with them. If it's really needed, say salam, just ask them how they are and go about your day. You don't need to associate with anyone who thinks you're too inferior or anything. You don't need that feeling. You don't need that energy in your life. Also, if they're expressing that they hate you, or if they love you, appreciate it, thank them, and also believe them. If someone has the guts or the audacity to actually tell you that they hate you, they hate your guts, believe them, because they are way beyond them hiding their feelings for you, And now it's out in the open. Now all you have to do is use that to your advantage, and you have to be very careful for yourself. Again, read your du'as, and so you can stay in the protection of Allah. Another very important pillar that my grandfather taught me was communication is key. A lot of you guys know that I am part of Magnetic Muslimah, and we just finished reading The Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher, and that book talks all about how you can basically improve your communication. Communication is key, and not just as a business owner, but as a person itself, communication is key. You can't just communicate your feelings or anything without knowing how to communicate to your audience, without knowing how to communicate to the person in front of you. I think it's one of the first few skills that a business owner should learn is communication. And then the second obviously is customer service. You cannot run a business without customer service. So going back to the story of my grandfather, he taught me a lot of things. I don't even think that I can do justice to whatever he taught me, but he did teach me a lot of good life lessons, and a lot of them were like, put yourself into circles that would actually like appreciate you, put yourself among people that you can learn from. Also, like, this is also a psychological thing that if the more you're between people who have that hustle or who have that energy to keep moving forward, who have that positive energy and have contagious positive energy, if anything, the more you can basically motivate yourself, and you can become like a better person, a better business owner. Basically, you have to be, as a business owner, you have to be able to make friends who will actually understand you. When you start a business, the first people that leave you in the dumps are, most of the time, are one, your family, second, your very close friends. The people who are cheering the loudest are strangers. And that's why a lot of the times we talk about how entrepreneurs are very lonely, and they need their own communities and societies and circles of other entrepreneurs, because who's going to understand an entrepreneur better than another entrepreneur, right? And honestly, it's okay if you're losing friends over something that you are trying to build and they can't evolve with you, and you're losing out on friends. That's completely fine, because imagine this: Allah will give you better friends. He will give you a better circle, people who would actually wanna understand you and help you grow. Not just people who are like, oh, you're never giving me time, you never have time for me anymore, you've changed. Of course I've changed. Of course I have. I'm building something. I'm nurturing something. I have a part of me out there in the world that people are seeing and passing comments on a lot of the times too. After I interviewed my grandfather in 2016, basically, I learned a lot about like how entrepreneurs basically run their business, how they started, how hard it can be for them. And then I was also working in an incubation center at that time, where I would help a lot of small businesses that would want to go big with their marketing and social media and stuff. So I did learn a lot of social media and marketing from there in 2016, but it was a lot different than how we do it today. And then in 2018, I graduated. I gave multiple interviews at many different organizations. I was going left, right, center to get a job somewhere. And a lot of the times I would get to the interview table, I would pass the interview, but then I would find out something very weird or sketchy about that company, and I would be like, I cannot work here, or this does not align with my ethics. And eventually I couldn't find anything for the first 8 months after graduating, and that's when this idea struck that we should start this business. So if you guys want to see the next part, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you guys know when we're posting next. Until next time.